You start the fire. I'm trying to find what you like. Oh, you and I won't close our eyes till we cross that line. There's something about you, something about you. You know I crave your touch, but we don't need to rush. There's something about you, something about you. Immersed inside my mind.
Are you ready?
Maybe it's a sign.
Oh, that's the
'cause
shot,
it's already over. Already over.
Can you say a few words about this hairdo?
Yeah, so
Criminal.
Inspired, by the 90s and the early 2000s. You can see the beautiful bleach hair as my hair is nice and healthy and crisp and falling off. So.
What you desire. Let's get lost inside, lose track of time.
I am at my very first art/NFT exhibition, and the artist is a guy named Luke Cornish. He specialises in stencil art, and a lot of his art captures sort of like social and political issues of unrest. It's really, really interesting, quite thought-provoking, and so I'm going to bring you along with me and just show you some of the art because it's very cool. But apart from that, I'm actually here to speak to a crowd about my experience in the Web3 world, I guess, as a beginner, so that'll be really cool. And I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think NFT galleries will become the future? Upstairs where the NFT collection is, they've done a full sort of description of what NFTs are to help people sort of understand, and I love talking about NFTs. I know that it's quite a difficult topic for people to wrap their heads around, but NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it basically proves ownership, sole ownership of digital and non-digital assets. So it can prove ownership of a song, a photo, a video, a house, a car, a Chanel handbag, pretty much anything. So for that reason, I really believe that NFTs are here to stay, but there's lots of questions surrounding NFTs, like what are the environmental impacts of NFTs? Why would NFTs be valuable over, say, traditional artwork? Are NFTs a fad, or are they here to stay for the future? I personally believe that they'll be here to stay, and that while we're seeing lots of fads in the space, that NFTs will certainly feature in our future in one way or another. NFTs also provided the opportunity for artists to expand their work onto the internet and to more directly connect them with buyers, because during the pandemic people couldn't, or artists couldn't, exhibit their artwork in sort of physical spaces like galleries and whatnot, so they had to pivot and find different ways to connect with their audience and also to make sales. And it just so happens that at this time NFTs really blew up in value, so it's just so exciting to see and so interesting to see. I just got back to my hotel room after the NFT exhibition in the city, and it was honestly such an oh my god, what is this? Oh, I hate downloads should be illegal in my opinion. And we were speaking to an audience that were mostly like very new to cryptocurrency or hadn't even started investing in cryptocurrency, and they asked some really interesting questions towards the end, like the environmental impacts of minting NFTs and regulation in the cryptocurrency space and how many scams are happening in the space. So it was a really, really good and honest conversation about the very like obvious problems in the cryptocurrency space, but also the potential of cryptocurrency and its utility beyond just being an investment asset. So it was very, very cool. And obviously the NFT space is so interesting as well, and a little bit misunderstood, I feel. So it was good to kind of debunk some of the myths around NFTs and just kind of recognize that NFTs have, again, a lot of utility beyond just, you know, being, I guess, a JPEG of an ape, which is how many people view them right now. So yeah, it was a really cool event. And so now I am going to go to bed, and I will catch you on the flip side. I just hit 60,000 followers on TikTok. So weird. When I started this channel back in March last year, I didn't realise that a following would lead to me quitting my job and just seeing what I can make out of the Web3 space. So I went for a walk with a friend this morning, and we were talking about how one of our mutual friends is moving to Sydney and she hasn't got a lot of time left in Canberra, which makes us both very sad, but that's just the kind of city that Canberra is. It's very transient. Anyway, she had asked my friend and I if we wanted to go out for dinner. And I said to her in our group chat, I just said, look, like, dinner is not in my budget at the moment, but like I would love to see you and spend more time with you. And right now, obviously, I am taking a break from work and just taking time to figure out what I want to do next. But that does mean that my financial situation is compromised, and that's okay. It just means I have to be extra careful of how I spend. Not having a consistent income does impact my ability to say yes to social outings and dinners, which, as you probably know, are such a happy spend for me. And of course, my friend said, absolutely, you know, no problem. You know, we can do something cheaper. We can, you know, go for a walk or, you know, whatever, which is really obviously kind of her and understanding of her as well. She was obviously just being sensitive to my financial situation, but just because I say no to going out for a dinner doesn't mean that I don't want to spend time with her. And then so in talking to my other friend this morning when we went for a walk, she said, Jordan, just let me pay for you. And this is really interesting because dinner would probably cost around $30. I'm taking a break from drinking at the moment, so I wouldn't need to sort of contribute to the bill for wine or anything like that, but it would be like a $30 meal. And she said, you know, this is like also a very good friend of mine. She said, no, like, we want your company and we want you to come out for dinner with us. Nicola hasn't got that long in Canberra and we need to make the most of it, and the Italian place is one of our favorite places to eat. You're coming and I'm paying for you. Now, obviously there's mixed feelings about this because not feeling like you can foot a $30 bill for dinner is a little bit disheartening. But of course, again, like I said, my friends understand that, you know, my financial position sort of doesn't lend itself to going out for dinner all the time. But when someone offers to pay for something for you, especially a close friend, it just was a really kind offer. It was really nice to know that my friends value my company and my friend rather would have paid for me than me not be there at all. And one of my favorite sayings is give your friends the luxury of letting them be there for you. And in that moment, I really felt like it was no big deal for my friend, and she wanted to have me there and she wanted to express generosity in that way. And it was really thoughtful. And I know that it's easy to knock back an offer like that because of your financial situation, because it's embarrassing that you can't pay for yourself, because you don't want to feel out of pocket or indebted to a friend. But I actually just felt really grateful and really valued that my friend wanted me to come to dinner enough that she offered to pay for me, and she said, I know it will come full circle. Swings and roundabouts. We've been friends for a long time, and we've seen each other go through some ups and downs with our personal finances. And of course, yes, I can afford a $30 dinner. I guess I was just being a little bit conscious of my finances and some upcoming expenses that I have. But yeah, it was just really kind of her to offer and to, kind of say it's no big deal. And to be honest, I think that if you have friendships that are that respectful and trusting and valuable, then, saying yes isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, it did make me sort of reflect and think, no, like this for sure, even though, I do feel strained financially, this for sure is actually a happy spend, and I can go and I will go, and they're one of my closest friends. So that's a time well spent, and it's money well spent. It also just made me feel incredibly lucky to have such supportive friends who understand what I'm trying to achieve, what I'm trying to build, what I'm trying to do, whether or not that fails, whether or not I end up going back to a full-time job, no matter the outcome. They're just incredibly understanding. And in that moment of, her offering because she wanted more than anything to, have the company of the two of us and the three of us there all together at dinner, it was just really, really sweet. And I would hope that if I were in that position and I had a friend who was a little bit strapped for cash, that I could return that same level of generosity in a trusting friendship, of course. Obviously, we don't want anyone taking our friends for granted or asking them to foot the bill for anything, and we're responsible adults. But I know that if I were in her position, I would have offered the exact same thing, especially during a time such as the Great Resignation, where people are really taking a step back from full-time work and making decisions that could alter the course of their career. There's a financial risk that comes with that. Making a change in life does come with financial ramifications. More often than not, if you have a less stable source of income, then you are going to feel a little bit tight for money. And so being able to say to friends, dinner is not in my budget at the moment, or no, I can't go to this thing because I am watching what I spend this month. I think that is completely okay. And if your friends don't understand that, or if you feel like your friends might judge you for that, then I think perhaps it says more about your friends than anything else, because money comes and goes, and sometimes we're going to have money and sometimes we're not going to have money, depending on the decisions that we make in life. And it's okay to be in that position. And I think this is just a really necessary conversation, because there's so much pressure these days to keep up with appearances, to be seen, to be doing things. Of course, it is so nice to go out and share a meal with friends. It's one of the happiest spends that I have right now, actually, especially as I'm spending so much time alone and I'm not in a sort of traditional work environment where I'm surrounded by colleagues. Seeing my friends outside of my own individual working hours is super, super important. So I guess, you don't have to spend an absolute mozza going for dinners and brunches and this, that and the other. You can pick and choose who you spend your time with and how you spend your money. And if the budget doesn't allow for you to spend huge amounts of money, then you absolutely don't have to. So anyway, I just feel very, very lucky and grateful to have very supportive and understanding and incredibly generous friends. It's one of the best things. Today I'm going to work at my local cafe just to get out of the house and to be among people. I'm going to work on my cryptocurrency for beginners ebook, which is something that I kind of keep going back to, but it's in an extremely rough draft state. So I'll go and work on that. And yeah, one podcast that I could highly recommend for anyone in the cryptocurrency space at the moment is the Bankless podcast. I listen to their podcast as I'm getting ready in the morning. I sort of go between the Coin Bureau and Bankless, and I am absolutely loving it. There's so many perspectives in the cryptocurrency space, but the one thing that I really notice is that nobody knows for sure what is going to happen. The space is moving so quickly that you can feel like an expert for like 2 seconds before you're not, before the next thing develops. And to actually hear people who are experienced investors, programmers, people with like highly technical skills talk about the fact that even they feel a little out of their depth sometimes is actually just incredibly reassuring. So if you haven't listened to the Bankless or the Coin Bureau podcast, I will leave links in the description. And I apologize that my exposure is so bad at the moment. I'm just very lucky to have incredible light in this granny flat. Anyway. And also while we're here, I just thought we'd do a quick little fit check because I just feel really cute today. And I really like the way I look in this outfit. So this top is just a basic white tee from Uniqlo. These pants are, I believe, recycled polyester from H&M. And then my shoes are just Adidas shoes. I've had them for so many years. I know sneakers are like the in thing at the moment, and I know these are probably not like the cool sneakers, but yeah, they're really comfy and I feel really cute and ready to go and work. Can I also just say that I'm such a huge advocate of look good, feel good. I think that if you feel good on the outside, then that exudes confidence. And that's why even though I'm not going into a corporate office every day, I literally still put on a face of makeup. The birds are so loud here. I still put on a face of makeup and I still get dressed up because it just makes me feel really ready for the day.